Hi, it's Dave here from Elysium Sophia, and how are you today? It's a Saturday afternoon, just finishing week 2 of our second major lockdown and approaching week 3 of Bojo's great lockdown. So how are you today? Whether you're watching us from the wonderful Philippines, or if you're working somewhere in Dubai or Saudi Arabia, but you actually are originally from the Philippines, or if you're in Kuwait or Bahrain, any of that area really, we say hi, how are you? If you're joining us as usual, we say good afternoon, like how are you? And if you're joining us from across the pond in America, where you've got your inauguration coming up, haven't you, of your new Joe Biden? Talk to us about that today, maybe. You could join us and chat about that. We'd love to know more about what's happening with your new Joe Biden. We're going to miss Donald Trump, but Joe Biden's in, and yeah, that's definitely something we can chat about today. We are Elysium Sophia, and if you're new to our channel, we're all about mindfulness, relaxation, motivation, self-confidence, and obviously hypnosis. Very gothic in our approach, and we also, over the past 3-4 months now, we've evolved into a chat show too. So we welcome you to our home here at Elysium Sophia, and in a mindful way, I suppose, you get things off your chest. So we're doing something that Jonathan Ross and people like that don't actually do. It just gives you a platform to have a chat in a mindful way, to relax, get things off your chest, and talk about anything. We've been talking this week about so many things, from childhood memories about sweets and chocolate, through to one-hit wonders and lots of tracks that we talked about. Sort of, it's horrible being in love with you, 8.5. Got your picture on my wall, got your name up on my scarf. Some silly little Mancunian that we remember from a long, long time ago. Not slagging Manx off, obviously, before people start complaining. We love Manx. But that was a one-hit wonder that we just remember. So we went down memory lane a few days ago, 4 or 5 days ago now, and talked about one-hit wonders and bands, and people were coming in and talking about them. We were talking about soaps. If you don't know what a soap is, it's not something that you get to wash with. But over here, in the UK, a soap is a kind of a program on TV that's a relaxation channel. It's a program on TV that looks at the lives of people, and it's really good. We have something called Coronation Street here, not as boring as it sounds, by EastEnders, and at the moment the biggie is Emmerdale, which is getting quite hot at the moment. Enjoying that. So if you're joining us, you can talk about anything. Of course, we're here to talk about vaccine, and COVID and super COVID as it mutates its way through the whole world, and how are we going on with the vaccine where you are? So of course, if you're joining us from Europe, tell us how you're going on. The final countdown, ba-da-da-da, ba-da-da-ba-ba, from Europe, obviously. If you're from Scandinavia, joining us, we say hi today. And of course, if you're joining us from our second home, our wonderful second home out there in Cyprus, we say hi, how are you? And join us today. Join us, our friends from Africa yesterday, quite a few friends from Africa yesterday, and of course our friends from the Middle East that were predominantly obviously from the Philippines, but as I said earlier, they live and work in Bahrain, the United Emirates, and all sorts of areas like that. It's Qatar. We had 2 great friends of ours from Qatar the other day chatting to us, and all that area where we were talking about openly being gay, and their relationship that we're in, to a lesbian relationship. Now, one of them was a lesbian, and their friend, they said they weren't a lesbian, but their friend was, but they were gay. It was great. I really got into that one, but it was really wonderful to have them. I'm joking, bit of a tongue-in-cheek. They were both, they were wonderful, and it was a conversation we had, and a long chat, and they're friends of ours that joined us from the Philippines, that were living, what about, was it my wonderful panda? They were living in Qatar,
Kuwait.
was it? Qatar, was it?
Kuwait, isn't it?
Kuwait or Qatar? Can't remember.
Oh,
But
Qatar,
I
yeah.
think it was Qatar, because we were on about how it was accepted, and I said something about, do you have to do it behind closed doors? And that was a bit, what do you mean behind closed doors? And what I actually meant, as we laughed about it, was, do you have to be careful on the streets and being openly gay and holding hands in the street? And they were saying, yes, of course, we have to be aware. But in Qatar, they were quite liberal, which is great to hear. And we also had a friend from the United Emirates, or back there, I think it was Bahrain, that said, talking about the regime and how strict it is out there. Because we said, well, what do you do out there? And they said, well, I could tell you, but I'd have to kill you. Whoa, kind of like James Bond or something. But again, it's the strict nature out there of the censorship. So we were chatting about censorship. We were talking, as usual, about the COVID injection, the COVID vaccine. And we were talking about how you feel about this current mutation and how we've yet again closed the stable door after the horse has bolted. What do you mean, you ask yourself? Well, of course, we've got this new Brazilian, great at football apparently, this new variation of COVID that's come all the way from Brazil. And now it's here, we've decided to stop all flights from Brazil. Sounds a bit strange, eh? Maybe if we could have stopped the flights from Brazil in the first place, when we started the lockdown, then this little blighter wouldn't have got in. But it's there. But again, just an example of how we've done things maybe not too well here in the UK, because we are where we are. And Bojo, bless him, he's damned if he does, and he's damned if he doesn't. So we do support, we're great Bojo fans. Boris Johnson, aka, if you're wondering who Bojo is, because obviously with COVID at the moment it's difficult, but we need to get on top of it ASAP, as soon as possible, and I think we're winning as it goes, because the vaccine's there. And of course, Penny the Panda, my beautiful daughter that is the Sophia, behind Elysium Sophia, is behind the camera, and as usual, we'll be welcoming people as they arrive from wherever across the world. Penny.
Hello everybody, Penny the Panda here from Elysium Sophia. So the first person we have is McLean Burley, who says hello, and
Hi.
yeah, so hello, thank you so much for joining us. Please don't forget to give this live stream a thumbs up, and yeah.
Hi, are you new to our channel? Whereabouts are you from? Are you from the Philippines, or whereabouts are you from? Because it will get quite crowded in a bit, because we have our usual people from the Philippines and from the United States, and from China, from Japan, and of course from Europe. But the main place that we tend to get people from is the Middle East and Philippines, and across the pond in America. But of course, Canada, we have friends from Africa, and Asia. And of course, we say hi to our friends from the UK, whether that's Vegan Realist, or that's FemFam, or so many other people, just off the top of my head that do come. Two in particular that are with us every day that we come here. And then obviously share the link and people come from their chats. And of course, obviously, if you're friends of Sophia, and we'll come back to that in a bit because Sophia's waving.
So we've got Mercy Balogun, who says your content is cool, awesome, and impressive.
Thank
Princess
you.
Magnifico.
Oh, you're welcome. Magnifico.
So
whereabouts are you from?
they're from Princess Magnifico's chat.
Oh, they're
the
from
live stream.
Princess Magnifico's chat.
So thank
and
you,
go to that on a regular
Mercy.
basis, don't you?
Yeah.
Because she's great as well, Princess Magnifico, isn't she? The last time I remember when she came to our live, but you've been to quite a few affairs, haven't you?
Yeah.
A bit like Jen, isn't she? A bit like Jen in an output that she does. Am I right? Am I talking to myself there? I don't know. But yeah, you're welcome today. And of course, we were just chatting about friends of Sophia's that join us. Sophia's just showing me
Princess
this,
Magnifico.
I can't see because all the names are across it there. Oh yes, of course, Princess. There she is. We were just saying hi to all our friends from here in the UK too, because obviously they're friends of Sophia's. Jack, maybe, with your little Teddy, a little dog, or maybe we have. There's somebody else here now.
So we've got R.R. Ramilo TV, who says hello, sir, connected from Princess Magnifico.
You're again from
So
Princess
thank you so
Hi,
much.
You're welcome.
Please remember to give this live stream a thumbs like and thank you.
Hi. We were saying the other day, our friend Harry banging his drum like Dom did it. Changed his name to Cheese Factory or something. I don't know.
Cheese.
Something to do with cheese strings or cheese. If he comes, we'll know who you are. Obviously, Ethan, the same breath, you might be there. You've changed your name to a different channel, and you're welcome too. And of course, Millie and our friends Ava, and obviously our other friend that we just forgot at the moment, and just talking about that sometimes everybody bobs to his house, haven't they? Carlisle, yes. But if I say too much about that, you'll think I'm getting at him. and he'll think I'm calling me, because in the next breath I say, hello, creepy,
Yeah.
because then he thinks that I'm calling him creepy, and not really, just the way that it is, but he knows that I'm not calling him creepy. We've got a friend from the Philippines called Creepy, who's a creep.
He's
He's
actually
a
called
weirdo.
Creepy though,
So Kalal, obviously not talking about you, but talking about our friend Creepy, that joins us every day from the Philippines, living out there, originally from the UK, originally a soldier, been through quite a lot over the years, and we were chatting yesterday about chocolate, amongst other things. Was it yesterday or the day before? It didn't come
Day
yesterday,
before.
did it? The day before.
Yeah.
We were talking about the size of wagon wheels.
Yesterday we were talking about a pocket-sized chocolate bar,
Pocket-sized chocolate bar, that was right.
and then the size of the chocolate bar, and then a normal size.
Because we were saying here in the UK, well, Lisa, thank you for reminding me about that, my lovely little panda. We were saying that in the 90s, because we do digress here, so please try and stay with us. We digress because we were talking about in the 90s, Cadbury's, lots more chocolate besides Cadbury's, but we're talking about Cadbury's and Cadbury's chocolate, and we're saying that there were small bars and medium-sized bars and big bars and then family-sized bars, which were massive, huge. They were as big as this room, and if you had one of those and didn't share it with your family, then you would be on the channel with Tammy and the My £600 Life on the USA. You're funny, fat, I'm fat, you're not as fat as me, but I am. I can't get off my fatty. You can't, can you, fatty? My £600 Life, great. Coming to a restaurant near you. That's a great program if you get a chance to watch it on the on YouTube, on the internet. My £600 Life, about fat people talking about their lives with chocolate. But anyway, we digress. We were talking about the size of chocolate bars, and the idea with a family-sized chocolate bar that's as big as your head. Excuse me, again, not COVID. Just a reminiscence from Christmas of bronchitis, which wasn't good. But anyway, talking about your finger, you've done something to your finger, madam. You okay?
Yeah.
And we're talking about the size of these chocolate bars, that you need to share them. Now, along in the 90s came this revolutionary idea about a pocket-size bar of chocolate, which was great because it was advertised and it was marketed as a pocket-size bar of chocolate. Now, the clue is in the thing, isn't it? Pocket-size bar of chocolate, which means it fits in your pocket. That's what it is. But then Cadbury's came out, and I never understood this. Cadbury's then came out with a giant pocket-size bar of chocolate. Hey, come on. It's not, is it? Why do that? Because it's just a normal-sized chocolate bar, isn't it?
Yeah,
Because
just
if it
call
fits
it
in
a
your
normal-
pocket, it's
yeah.
a pocket size. But then if you have a giant pocket size,
It's not really a pocket size. It's just a normal chocolate
it's just a
bar.
regular bar of chocolate. But the marketing said, yes, we've got a bar of chocolate, we've got pocket size Cadbury's chocolate. But now we've got a giant pocket size bar of chocolate. It's not, is it? It's not pocket size, because unless your pockets are like, whoa, and you're walking about like it's a knockout, or the people from like £600 Life, then your pockets aren't that big. If they are, you've got problems. But hey, come on. Why would you carry around this big tablet of chocolate? It's not like Moses bringing it back from the mountains. Hey, I've got some chocolate. Ta-da! There you go. Tablets of
So
chocolate.
we've got Sis Wang Foster.
Doing Foster.
Sis Wang
Oh,
Foster.
that's a funny way
Who
of saying
says-
it, isn't it?
Good luck on your premiere, sir. Stay safe always.
On our premiere.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, thank you. You're welcome. Thank you very much for that. Thank you very much. You're welcome. And it's great that you can join us today. You're joining us here at Elysium Sophia. That's evolved over the last probably 3 or 4 or 5 months now into a chat show. And we invite you into our home to get things off your chest, and in a mindful way, I suppose, we share things. And at the moment, we're sharing... what have you done at your finger, Mariah? We just bitten it off. She's just not a poisonous snake. She's bitten a finger off. But anyway, we were talking about chocolate at the moment, aren't we? But I don't like talking about chocolate because I'm a type 1 diabetic. Diabetes. And chocolate is not great for diabetics, but still like to slide in the odd piece here, there and everywhere. Because you can't you? But I do like plain chocolate. And we were discussing plain chocolate. And obviously we had Vegan Realist telling us the benefits of plain chocolate and wine, red wine. Vegan Realist was chatting to us about yesterday, which was really good. And we're saying how we really enjoy red wine, obviously, but we were also talking about how we enjoy plain chocolate as opposed and as much cocoa as we can get in there, the richer the better, because it's better for you. And we were talking about the nourishment that's in there and the value, and that it stimulates the taste buds, but it also stimulates the parts of the chocolate can't reach. Yeah, it releases enzymes into your body of the feel-good factors, and it's great, and it just makes you feel warm inside. But yeah, plain chocolate, really good for you. And we were saying that we really enjoyed Terry's chocolate oranges, and we got about the big, huge Dawn French, fatty, that came on and said, remember the advert? And she said, it's not Terry's, it's mine. And she took it and stole it and rammed about 18 into her face, hence why she was as big
Well,
as a
I don't
houseboat.
think she did that.
Well, she did. She's not quite as big now, is she? But she's doing really, really well.
I don't think she literally did that.
Dawn French, yeah, she did. She put them all in. It was while she was being the vicar of Dibley, she kept eating, it's not Terry's, it's mine, and kept throwing them down her neck. But yeah, we discovered plain chocolate orange, but it was Terry's, not mine. And they're great as well. So, and then we moved on, and we were chatting about a really disgusting habit they have, because where we are here in the UK, we have Dingles one side, we have Dedar Sheffield people the other side, we have the Manx on the border, and we're also on the border with Derbyshire. So it's quite a melting pot where we are in our area. But we were saying about how wrong it is to batter a Mars bar and deep fat fry a Mars bar or a Cadbury's cream egg, because that's just not right as far as I'm concerned. I mean, I would say that being a diabetic, because one, for the calorie content, but two, how sweet would that be? That would be just wrong. We're chatting about that, how wrong that was. Some people said they quite enjoyed battered Cadbury's cream eggs. Other people said they thought that was horrendous. And then Creepy came along and said about the delicacies that they have in the Philippines at the moment, which is pretty similar to the program that we watched, myself and Sophia, about the markets in Wuhan, in China. We were looking at that and in amazement at the things that are considered delicacies there.
Oh,
Which is,
dear me.
different culture.
Yeah.
Great. We opened our eyes to these things and we were like, whoa, is that real? You know, does that go on? The one that we thought was quite bizarre was little like scorpions on sticks.
Yeah.
That was quite an eye opener. That was I've never tasted anything like that before. I don't think I will. But apparently full of nutrition. Yeah, it just shows different parts of the world. So from where you are, what's your delicacy? What do other people maybe find a little bit strange?
I saw
but
something
you think
today.
It's something that you did. What was that?
I saw something today, and it was a
Hot roast pork sandwich. Is that what you saw
no,
today?
it was an ant lollipop, like an ant.
lollipop?
Yeah.
What was that? Made of what?
No,
Everything's
it was
frozen,
like-
made of lollipop from the ant lollipop shop.
no, it was on the
Oh,
internet,
it was on
and
the internet, was
this
it?
person was eating it, and it was these
An ant.
ants,
Ants.
frozen, yeah,
Frozen ants into
Yeah.
a lolly.
yeah.
But it takes all sorts, I suppose. So it's how bizarre. But yeah, maybe you want to share with us that. What's a delicacy near you or in your country, in your part of the world, that you'd like to share with us, that you think that we might be interested to know, or think, oh my word, how does that work? And of course, we had our friends here from the other day, didn't we? We had our friend Donna, that's having a bit of a something done very, very soon. And she's going to share that with us, aren't you, Donna? You're going to come and show us before and after shots. And I am reliably informed that Donna is having this procedure done, and we can't wait for her to do that, just to come and chat with us. And if she comes back looking like Lynn Terry or something, it's going to be quite interesting. You sign procedure. It's going to be quite fun watching that. But let's hope it's apparently from my little Sophia showed me a picture of Donna as she is now, but it's so small. teeny weeny picture, and I can't see it. But she tells me that she's got X-ray eyes. She's got eyes that can.
Hopefully, when we have a video, we can
see Donna in true form, can't we? And then we were talking about FemFam because we've not seen FemFam for ages. Because as you know, if you're watching us, we are on the brink of monetization. We should have been monetized around Christmas time, but we've yet to receive our accolation from YouTube to let us know what's happening there. Because we've not had the trumpet coming and the little message that says yes, you are monetized. Because that's the wonderful little panda who's going to do the face reveal.
Yep.
For all you lovely people.
Yes.
Not for the people who know. Now we were laughing about that, weren't we?
Oh dear.
It seems that all the people that say when are you doing your face reveal seem
already
to be
know
from
what I
Sophia's
look
friends
like. Yeah.
that know what she looks like. Well, that's
Yeah, like
strange,
everyone that wants me to
When are
do
you
a
doing the
face.
face reveal.
The only people that have asked me to do a face
The people
reveal
know you
are the
look
people who know what I look like anyway. So
Because they
I think
you're
they're
going to school as
expecting.
Penny the Panda, don't they?
I think they're expecting me to like look different or
Look
something.
different. It's
but-
oh, you still look like
you know,
Sophia. That's
yeah.
bizarre, isn't it? But yeah, it's really funny that because people are, when are you doing
Apart
your face
from
reveal?
one other person
One
who
other person
came.
who said yes, and was quite aggressive in telling us about this. But hey ho, that was very interesting, wasn't it? But yeah, so you might want to talk about delicacies where you are, and of course yesterday we were talking about the snow. Because over here, mate, it's been snowing, and yesterday morning we couldn't get out. We had to dig our way out like one of these seven dwarfs. Hi-ho, it's off the road we go. And we were digging ourselves out, and it was an experience. So we parked the car nearer towards the road this morning, and so we could get straight out this morning. Boom, straight out. Because, but yesterday morning we went out and it was -4. -4.5 to be quite exact, and this morning it was 0. So a lot warmer this morning. The road's starting to move quite freely, but it was quite an experience yesterday. We tend to get the weather from America, and I presume it must have snowed out there. Not Sinead, because talking of Sinead, how are you today, Sinead? Unicorn Hulk. We wish you a big happy birthday because it was your birthday yesterday. And obviously, you might join us today. We joined you on the other platform, didn't we?
Yep, we did.
And you called me a slaphead, which wasn't nice. But of course it was nice because that's what I call myself on there. Slaphead. You sign slaphead because I have a head that I sometimes occasionally slap, which is all good fun for everybody. A bit like an egg, I suppose. But yeah, we were chatting about all sorts yesterday. And what I want to get my teeth into, being the vampire that I am, is Belle, half mortal, half immortal. Belle. I digress into the wonderful Twilight. Yeah, being the Twilight fan that I am, and we are, getting our teeth into the United States inauguration. Now, Turtle, you came the other day, one of the friends of the little doggy troop.
Yep.
From the Shih Tzu
Juliet
company.
the Shih Tzu.
Juliet the Shih Tzu, which we've not seen. Juliet, I'm really worried about Juliet the Shih Tzu.
Yeah.
And those, because they've not turned up for ages, have they? People have been coming from your family, as it were, or your doggy community, but you've not been for a while.
No.
So again, the reason I was saying that is because what's happening in the US, our friend Donald Trump is no more and has been impeached, which we said sounded quite painful. And we were chatting yesterday, the day before, about Joe and how good old Joe, we think he's boring, but obviously he's a great politician. We don't know enough about him, do we?
No.
But compared to Donald Trump, anybody's boring. But yeah, we're going to miss Donald. But Joe, tell us a bit more about Joe. What he's going to do for your country, and what does impeachment actually mean? Does it mean that you're trying to stop Donald Trump from ever running again for office? Or does it mean ever running again for to be president? Or can he be involved in politics if he's impeached?
I don't understand that.
Yes, what is this word impeached? What does it actually
I really don't
translate to?
understand.
So if you can help us out with that, what's happening in America at the moment? And is it all going to kick off this time again? When you go for the inauguration, yes, Hillary Clinton will be cackling away there because she's got what she wants, and Bill Clinton, and come on, let's be honest, The only way that they're involved now is because they want Chelsea to be the first female president of the United States. Is that right? I think so. Maybe she'd make a great one, Chelsea. I'm nothing against Chelsea. But I think it's a hidden agenda. It's a hidden agenda, surely. That they just, they want that. Now maybe Chelsea. I think it's Chelsea. I could be talking out the back of my head. But I'm sure it's Chelsea. And I think she's great. She's a lovely person. But I can almost see in 10 years' time, or 5 or 6 years' time now, the new president of the USA will be another Clinton, which will be the first female president of the United States. Which, nothing wrong with that. That's great. What do you think?
Hello, Vegan Realist.
Oh, Vegan Realist.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Excuse me.
How are you today? Thank you for joining us, and please don't forget to give this live stream a thumbs up.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to tell you who I've atted.
Oh, who have you answered today?
And thank you for sharing our live
Yes,
stream
thank you
as
for sharing
well.
our live. Oh, I'm just
So,
really collapsed there.
The first person I've atted
Lotus position.
is Jen
Jen,
Laurenciano.
hang on a second. Where are my pink pants? And my messages and my presents from Germany.
And then
Red
Kuya
Jen.
J Official.
Oh,
Kuya J Official.
How are you? You've
Eliza.
atted Eliza talks to the animals.
Fenfam.
Fenfam. Not been speaking to
Culver
us
Fam.
because they've done something, haven't they? Culver
No,
Fam.
but they can't.
Yeah, he can, but
Yeah.
he's not. Where is he?
Culver Fam.
Culver Fam, yeah.
Vegan Realist.
Vegan Realist, you're
and Juliet the Shih Tzu.
And Juliet the Shih Tzu,
Yeah.
we aforementioned earlier. Yeah, we're just talking about, we're looking for our friends from the US to come and
Yeah.
continue this conversation. Maybe I've got it all wrong. Maybe I've got this
What have you
conspiracy
been
theory all
doing
wrong.
today, Vegan Realist?
Yeah, look there in York. How's the snow? Is it disintegrating now? Is it disappearing, or is it still there? Because over here now it's melting away, which is nice that it's melting. But, yeah, we're looking at the American election. We're looking at Joe Biden, and we're looking at because we're big, it's a bit unfair really to say that we are big. Friends of or fans of Donald, because he's entertaining, isn't he?
Vegan Realist said the snow has pretty much gone.
Good. Yeah, it's nice to see it. It's nice to see you dice. But it's nice to go dice, and it's gone. So it's let's hope it disappears for a bit anyway. But, going back to the American elections, we were chatting yesterday about the power that seems to lie within the Clinton democracy. And the amount of power that they have. Now again, we remember Hillary, we remember Bill, and his saxophone, wasn't it? He didn't obviously use a saxophone, he did that, didn't just walk around
Yeah.
like the old snake charmer. But yeah, Bill used to play the saxophone, I'm really sure he did. But he was really good saxophonist, if that's a word, I think it is, yeah. But he used to entertain us there, but then he disappeared for a bit, and then Hillary came along, and then Hillary was a great leader, but also had a lot of power in the United States. Now, I always thought the power from the United States came from many, many Republicans, but how wrong we've been of late, seeing the power lies with the Democrats in so many ways in the United States. But of course, the power also lies with the Republicans. But the power seems to be very shifting over there. But I think there's so much, and again, Barack Obama was a great president for you over there, and did a great job. But there seems to be now a very much undercurrent now, behind the scenes, all supporting Joe. And a lot of Americans that come onto our chat all say, yeah, Joe's for the people. And I'm sure he is. And let's hope he works for you, and let's hope he does work. But I can't help, how can you feel sorry for this man that's got everything, like a billionaire, and a nice orange face? How can you feel sorry for a guy that has everything? But yeah, we do. We actually feel for Donny. And how's things going to go when the inauguration comes on? Is it all going to kick off again?
I don't understand. I don't understand why they're saying that they're doing that thing where they. I don't agree with that. Like, why should they stop him from
Because they think he's a bad egg.
Yeah, but I don't understand why.
You see, I don't understand because I obviously they were originally the people who stormed in and did all that under the name of republicanism didn't agree with the results. of the election. Okay, but then it turned to carnage, and then it turned to mass rioting, and a lot of people just did it as they do. I don't think they did it in Donald's name at all. I think it was an excuse for a riot and all these hillbillies kicking off, because they did, didn't they? They just kicked off and caused mayhem, and sadly people died. And I think that's the nub of it all, because and then Donald Trump did come out and condemn it. But according to a lot of people, too little, too late, and thought that Donald Trump should have come out straight from the beginning and said, "Look, stop it off, you bad lads, hillbillies, get off home." But he didn't, and I don't think he actually got the. I think it was that smarting from the election. And then disown himself from what was happening afterwards. But too late for something better.
We've got Soler, who says...
Excuse me.
Soler, who says, nice couch and trippy blue lights.
Oh, thank you.
And also, they said, hey, Jamie, I found this because you shared it. So Lovely. They came because Vegan Really shared it.
Because Vegan Really shared it. Oh, great. Yeah, and you're welcome. So I take it if you're a friend of Vegan Realist, then you're from here in the UK. Maybe not, I don't know. But you're welcome. We are Elysium, Sophia.
Yeah.
If you've been before, if you haven't been before, the gloves, they're the boxing gloves, or mine and my daughter's. We're Thai boxers, we're into martial arts. I'm a big Thai boxer, and my wonderful little daughter, she's a very young Thai boxer, and they're doing really well in the sport. Because Elysium Sophia, all about hypnosis, about relaxation, meditation therapy, but we've evolved into a chat show over the last 6 or 7 months now, and we're enjoying inviting you into our home, and we're having a chat with you.
So Soler said, I'm Canadian, but I respect Jamie for sure.
You respect Jamie?
Yeah.
Is that Vegan Realist?
Yeah.
Oh, great. Well, you're welcome. You're in the same places now as our great Prince Harry then, that's fled all the way to Canada, to the Rocky Mountains that are Canada. And you're welcome from Canada. We've got a bit of similar weather to you today over the weekend. Obviously, not half as bad as what you get over there, but we've had the snow in the UK. And we're just actually talking about the US elections at the moment. If you just caught us, and we're looking for comments about what you feel about the impeachment of Donald Trump. Because over here, we were just saying, how can you feel sorry for a guy that has everything? But we do. We're big Donalds. We like Donald Trump. But obviously, as a person, we like him. He's entertaining, and we're going to miss him. Impeachment, does that actually mean that the Americans don't want him to run for office again, run for president again, or kick him out of politics altogether? And this inauguration that's shortly to happen, do we think it's going to kick off again there? And do you think Donald did act too late in condemning the violence that happened? Or was he just starting and proving a point that the elections we thought was rigged? I don't know.
So Soler said, I'm in SW, Ontario.
Ontario?
How do I feel about elections in the USA?
Yeah.
I think it's out of my control, and the government media might be alien.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's an alien, yeah. No, seriously. It's crazy, isn't it? I mean, we just get what we're told over here from America. But obviously we've been watching the elections very, very closely here in the UK. I'm very surprised to see how close they were in certain states. Very, very close. Nearly 50-50 in many areas. And then it was clear to see that all these votes came from somewhere, out of the blue. I don't know. And Donald Trump was very upset by that and found it all quite coincidental. We were chatting to a couple of American friends during the election who said that they voted twice, and lots of people have voted twice, hence where these new votes came from. So in a lot of ways, the American elections were quite farcical, but more sinister. What's happening underneath there, the undertones, the sinister undertones. I mean, Joe Biden's got in now, and we don't know enough about Joe. To us, he's boring because he's not Donald Trump, but apparently he's a great guy, and he's a good politician. And I think the main thing we're gathering is that he's a man of the people. I don't know, but underneath it, you can't help but feel there's the Clinton administration that's still working behind the scenes, and they seem to have the power in the US. I don't know. That's how I see it. That's how we see it. The power used to be with the Republicans, but the power seems to be very much now with the Democrats, and the places in influential positions tends to be coming from the Democrat power, which is quite strange. And of course, a lot of them now saying that Donald Trump should have acted quicker to condemn the riots, and I get them. But I also don't think these hillbillies that kicked off in the end, a lot of them initially, they didn't agree with the election results and believed that so did so still does Donald Trump, and so do I in a way, feel that there was some discrepancy there. But they kicked off, they stormed the Reichstag as they did, and the hillbillies went in and started taking bits of war and saying, I got you, and showing these trophies that they got, and it was a farce, wasn't it? And then Donny didn't come out and condemn it as soon as I think he probably should have done, because he thought they were acting to stop the result the way it was, and he thought they were his people. But then I think it's become more apparent that a lot of people, like any other rioting situation, joined the bandwagon because it was kicking off, and not in my name, as it were. And I think that's when people then got onto Donald Trump and said, you should be condemning this. He didn't condemn it quick enough because he was already smarting from the election results, and rightly so in some ways. He didn't believe that it was fair and just, but it is what it is. So now the impeachment, and we were jokingly saying the other day, it sounds quite painful to be impeached. And do you know, is impeachment, does it mean that the Americans, people want to get signed something in that says that he can never run for office again? He can never be into politics again? Or is it just that he can never be go for presidency again? I don't know. I don't know enough about the American politics system to work that one out. But it's very deep, isn't it? And I think it's going to go on and on and on. And what will happen? Will it overspill at the inauguration? Or is the army ready this time? Because the police couldn't do what they wanted to do, but the army can. Will it be different second time round? We all wait with anticipation.
So let's say people get so emotionally invested in it when Trump / Biden are both part of the same faction.
Yeah. It's so the two. Yeah, it's very complicated. This is the first time I've been totally taken back by American politics. Yeah, because obviously in the past years we've had pretty clear results. When we saw Donald Trump then standing on the door of the White House with Barack Obama, and they took over, it was quite amenable, and it was a new start. And America's there, isn't it, on his chest, is a true American, and apparently now so is Joe Biden. So it'll be interesting to see.
So let's say even here in Canada, we get Harper saying we have to make sure crime doesn't end up in Putin's hands. Meanwhile, they were selling Ukraines and not telling us.
Selling what, sorry?
Ukraines and not telling us.
Yeah, I know. And the Ukraine Russian involvement again is rife, isn't it? Again, the corruption in politics. So it's going to be interesting how this unfolds. And it's spread all the way to Canada, hasn't it? Well, say all the way, it's next door, isn't it? But,
our media never reported any death yet. I watched them sell thousands of people with artillery.
Yeah, and it's these, they were all armed, weren't they? And they were all armed right from the very beginning. As soon as they declared that the election was corrupt, I think that they donned arms, didn't they? A lot of the Republicans. But again, these same Republicans were the people that had been donning arms for a long time. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens at the inauguration and see if it kicks off. Because again, you've got to feel for the authorities, especially the police, because they were in a no-win situation, a bit like our own Boris Johnson here, Bojo, in a lose-lose situation because they couldn't act, but the army can, and this time I think the army will take control.
Putin is one of the same people as Trump. The faction is all the same. Every leader, hence why we are all doing the CVBS when none of us want to.
Doing what, sorry?
CVBS.
TV what?
CVBS.
Oh right, I see. Yeah, it's very opportunist at the moment. Again, we are watching with anticipation as to what's going to happen next. And how has Harry been welcomed via the media in Canada? Do you know he's there? Is he pretty quiet about Harry at the moment? Because I mean, you are looking after him for us. Because to us, Harry's a special person, and so is Meghan. But obviously, things are changing rapidly. So how is it reported over there in Canada? Is he getting the privacy that he wants, or is he courting the relationship with the press well in Canada, or is it kind of like just there, it's happening and oblivious really? I don't know. It got really heated over here before he left, and then we keep getting bits and bobs back from Canada about Harry.
Canada isn't the same country anymore. It was great in the 80s and 90s, but now it's a year in jail if I take my kids tobogganing.
Mm-hmm. So it's not the same anymore in Canada. Yeah. Now, why is that? Why is that? Is that the government, or what's changed? What's changed in Canada?
They give up solving real crimes and are busting white families exclusively.
So it's so you're saying white families are being underrepresented in Canada, as they in the 80s and 90s they were very successful. I don't know. The Canadian politics is something new to me. All I remember is how powerful the situation was in the growing up in the late 80s and early 80s to mid 80s to late 80s. And then all of a sudden, I agree, I think you've hit the nail on the head. Something has been changing in Canada. And of course, you went on your own, and then you're just recovering from that now, aren't you? And now starting to come up. But is recovering the right word? Because you were a strong nation, and still a respected nation. But I've noticed that people's opinion on Canada has been changing over the years. Do you have more? It's a melting pot, isn't it? Because clearly it's all right saying Canada's getting more. Are you having more immigrants coming into Canada now and changing the nature of the country? But saying that, with it being quite a mix to start off with.
It's political correctness gone mad.
Has it? Oh right, I see. So it's like it was here in the 80s. So Canada now in 2021, right, is kind of very similar to how life was here in the UK in the 1980s, very early 1980s, where you had to watch what you said, because if you didn't, there was a lawsuit waiting around the corner. Groups began to be marginalised that were once in the majority. Is that right? Is that what's happening in Canada? So the WASP-M Canadians, as it were, the white Anglo-Saxon middle-class Canadians, now feel alienated. Is that what's happening? I don't know. Because and obviously the ethnicity is becoming wider and wider. I don't know. Is that what's happening in Canada with the population? And the traditional Canadians are feeling let down by the system. Is that how it is? I don't know. Again, it's the politics of Canada are changing all the time, and don't know enough about it to make comments as much as I would do on obviously European politics, or a little bit more to understand. Even the American the American system is just never easy to understand. But is that right? Is that how it feels at the moment for being a Canadian by birth? And your family, you feel that other people now are moseying in, as it were, and you're having to be careful about what you say and how you say it, for fear of being deemed.
I've never seen anything like it. They want the whites here.
Can you say a bit slower, Manoli, because I can guess the rules.
I've never seen anything like it. They want the whites here to not exist, yet cops disproportionately arrest us for crimes that shouldn't even be legal, like going outside.
Right, okay. And that's nothing to do. Now again, forgive me, that's nothing to do with COVID at the moment. Then that's just a general thing that's been happening before COVID, or white people getting arrested, for just going out and breaking COVID rules. Forgive me, is that what's happening, or is it something that's clear across the board before COVID and nothing to do with COVID?
The gov.gc web pages have sentences that are crazy.
Right, and again, is that related to COVID, or is that before COVID and was happening well before COVID and still happening? Obviously, because over here people are getting locked up left, right, and centre now. Well, not locked up, but they're getting it's getting quite intense with COVID. So people are getting feeling very restricted. So how did, without getting political, how did Black Lives Matter? How did that come across in Canada? How did that pan out in Canada?
The laws were written about a decade ago.
Yeah. Okay. So I asked you the question. Over here in the UK, and obviously right at the very right at the beginning in America, with the incident that sparked everything off in America, and then it obviously kicked off over here in Canada. How was Black Lives Matters? How was that approached, and how was it accepted or received by people like yourself in Canada?
It's 14 years for 6 to 200 pot plants in the legal pot country.
Okay. So yeah, how did Black Lives Matter? How did it?
So Black Lives Matter in Canada gets to attack people and burn down property with the media encouraging it and cops ignoring it. So the media encouraging it and cops ignoring it.
So sorry, forgive me. The media they encourage it. What?
So the Black Lives Matter in Canada get to attack people and burn down property with the media encouraging it and cops ignoring it.
Right. Okay. So basically, the Black Lives Matter campaigners are out there burning down things. The cops, the media are encouraging it, and then the cops are ignoring it.
Hang on, I'm just waiting for the message to come up.
It's nice to know. Thank you.
So why are they even here? Question mark.
The Black Lives Matter people. Is that what we're saying? Again, you have a bit of a time lag here on what I'm saying. So thank you for intimating this, because it is something I've been interested in. Because obviously we've seen Black Lives Matters in America, we've seen Black Lives Matters over here in the UK, and throughout Europe has been slightly different, as you can maybe have seen. But in Canada, I take it as a white middle class male, you're now feeling oppressed by the publicity on Black Lives Matter in Canada. Am I saying that right? Is that how you see it at the moment? I don't know. But it's very interesting if that is the situation. And it's great to use this forum to chat about it, because we don't know.
Their best case was a black that got killed by a cop for attacking him with a hammer.
Say that again, madam.
The best case was a black that got killed by a cop for attacking them with a hammer.
Right, okay, so that was pretty similar to what's going on in the US. But again, it's driven off kind of like internal combustion from the people of Canada.
As a white male, I feel like my kids are being ethno-cleansed.
Ethno-cleansed,
and the gov is a massive threat.
Right, okay, thank you. That sums up what I think a lot of the people in America that were kicking off anti-Black Lives Matter, because obviously it's been a big thing, hasn't it? It's been a massive thing. And in America, when it kicked off, it soon came over here to the UK. But of course, the flip side of that are the white people who feel now that they're being sort of alienated because of Black Lives Matter. Because we were chatting the other day about anybody making a comment that says all lives matter is now deemed a racist. And that's quite an important statement.
The cops are heavily biased against us.
Against the white people in Canada, I see. Because we were chatting to somebody the other day, which quite innocently said they were offended by the notion of Black Lives Matter and only Black Lives Matter. So actually said, no, please don't say that. All lives matter. And then all of a sudden they were deemed racist because they'd said that, and that was similar, I presume, to what you're saying now.
How?
Yeah, because it was a very potent time we saw something on YouTube that said all lives matter. Now, when anybody uses the term all lives matter, they're then deemed a racist. Is that how you feel?
I can get 14 years for selling a doobie, but if someone rapes my child, they face a 5-year max, likely a 90-day sentence. The least I'd get over the pot would be 9 months.
Yeah, so that is a farce, isn't it? So if you protected your own, you'd be in trouble, but if you were doing a doobie, then you'd be all, I get you. Bonkers, isn't it? And again, do a lot of Canadians then, as you opened the conversation by saying that, do a lot of Canadians feel the same then? A lot of white Canadians. And forgive me, white Canadians, how does it work with the initial Canadians, white Canadians? Now, obviously we know the Indian population and the French Canadian. How did it all, where do you all descend from? Yeah, where do you all descend from? Because clearly the Indians were there, the French were there, and then you have French Canadians. And there's so many, the French and Indian connection's so rife, isn't it? I've always been intrigued about the French connection in Canada and the Indian connection in Canada. And then people like yourselves that are obviously white through and through Canadian. Is that because of the French part? Or is that because of, tell me.
So Nab said,
no.
Yeah, everything is inverted. People are going crazy. Too much diversion. I tell you what, the 99% matters stuff the 1%.
The what, sorry?
The 99% matters stuff the 1%.
Right, okay, yeah. And the
Hello, Nab.
Hello, Nab, how are you? Yeah, you've hit us at a really crucial time. We're just saying, obviously you're as intense as what we are at the moment. Just discussing with our friend from, I presume, Nab, because you'll be from the same chat. Is that right, my darling? Can you help me out here? Nab, and obviously a vegan realist, our friend from Canada. So are you all of the same belief then here? That can you sympathise or empathise with each other? You obviously met before. Not the fact that you're all vegans. I don't know.
Vegan really said hi, Nab, and Nab said I fell in. And Soler said I hate globalism and think we need to divide into ethon states or we won't exist very long.
Who said that?
It's Soler.
Oh right, yeah. Okay, so yeah, you do. You're aware. So do you all know each other because you're all vegan?
Soler said this place was great and is now a living nightmare. And Nab said me and Jamie are friends. So Nab and Vegan Realist are friends.
Yeah. Okay, but our Canadian friend came because he's a friend of
because
Vegan Realist.
he saw Vegan Realist shared it.
Yeah, he shared it. But it must be part of Vegan Realist thing, I don't know. Oh, he just shared it and he came on. I see, sorry.
Yeah.
I might have just got on a tangent there. I presume that because Nab and Vegan Realist were friends, then our Canadian friend came across.
So Soler said, I started out vegan and that's how I met Jamie.
Hey, see,
right,
there was some connection there. Good, you see, and that's great how it's all fell into the melting pot there. Great, and thank you for intimating and giving us shedding a bit of light, because this is what we do here at the Sims Affair.
Yeah.
We take a kernel, we open the nut, and we bring it out. We bring it out in the open, because while you're thinking, it brings so many things out into the open. And it's great to start on a topic that we've got a little bit of information about, but then we get somebody who's got a bit more information, and we start to build a more informed picture. Because knowledge is power, isn't it? And ignorance is, they say it's a virtue, but ignorance is just stupidity. I don't see how ignorance is a virtue, to be honest. That's the phrase, I don't know if you've heard that before. Patience is a virtue. Ignorance is not a virtue, but patience is a virtue. But yeah, it's great. So thank you for sharing that with us. And it's nice to hear a side. Again, I'm still struggling with the patriotism from Canadians as to whether they consider themselves French Canadian, or North American Indian Canadian.
Nab said living in some weird Matrix dystopia.
Yeah.
And Soler said Soul Trap Matrix, I agree.
Yeah.
And Nab said held together by medical tyranny.
Yeah, I mean it is a matrix, isn't it? And according to what you're saying there, it is quite dystopic. But we're living in dystopic times, aren't we? That if you're not careful, dystopia can actually enrage and take over, and the voice behind the machine will take over. It's very deep, but I get it. The dystopia has occurred. Originally, Afro-Caribbeans in America felt very dystopic. But then their influence then made white people feel dystopia was on the horizon, and now we have a total feeling of dysmorphia.
Soler said, agreed to Nab. My experiences with the medical mafia are chilling.
The medical mafia?
Yeah, and Nab said, post-vax era coming to town near you soon.
Right, okay.
And Soler said, I drink gum spirit turpentine for rope worms. The doctor said don't exist.
Okay, yeah, because again, and this is where Donald Trump got himself into trouble, didn't he? You remember right at the very beginning when Donald Trump didn't at all intimate that you should go out and drink bleach, but some kind of people in America were starting to. I remember there was a guy in America on the news that his wife was on. He'd heard something of the nature, and he'd read on some of his fish tank cleaner that it contained this particular type of bleach that would be protected against COVID. So went out and drank it, or some of it, and then unfortunately was very ill and died. Now, his wife was then suing the government because they said Donald Trump had said, go and drink that. Well, he didn't. But again...
Soler said, I post videos of 10-inch long worms, yet they say nothing to see here.
Nothing to say here?
Nothing to see here.
All right, 10-inch worms.
And Nav said, I'm growing herbs, tobacco, fruits, spuds and veggies this year. Shops are becoming a grim experience. Karen's patrolling the car park now. And Soler said, scary to think that they are letting everyone, and I do mean everyone, walk around with these things.
Okay, that's in Canada.
Yeah.
That's in Canada. Right, yeah, okay. So it's a very open-minded, very kind of a liberal approach then in Canada at the moment, is it? Very much how it was in Holland in the 80s and the 90s. I'm seeing the similarity that I've never actually formed a similarity now between the. But there again, now I'm making similarities between the Dutch and the Boers, and now obviously the Boers and the Dutch and the Netherlands, as opposed to yourselves in Canada with the French-Canadian Empire. Yeah, I'm starting to piece, throw me a frigging bone. Is something? Are we touching on something there? Because we have a nation here that obviously ascended from French-Canadian, French and the Canadian and the French Association, and then obviously the Indians. But obviously then we have a similar kind of now culture, an acceptance of I suppose the cultivation of a certain medication that we see in Holland. And of course, Holland, very much linked with the Boers, the South African influence there. So you have kind of four cultures from two countries.
The liberal illusion is seeming like a segue to globalist, Soviet-style communism. They're building isolation centres for people who don't get their jab. Many of us are seeing them as gulags.
Okay, yeah, so it's... out there's a bit of skepticism, quite a bit of skepticism out about the vaccination, I take it. But I think it was it Vegan Realist? Was it you that was saying that you had friends that were in these pharmaceutical companies that spent a lot of time on the vaccine? Because you mentioned it, but I think it was FemFam. No, it was FemFam originally that said he had. Was it FemFam originally that said he got friends in the pharmaceutical companies that spent a lot of time? Yeah. Forgive me, it wasn't Vegan Realist. It was FemFam, and then Vegan Realist came in on the conversation. So please forgive me.
Nav said they will have to drag my dead body away from my house.
Right. What now? I don't know.
No.
It's one of those things, isn't it? Yeah, you have to forgive me because that was I remember a past conversation that we had when we all got talking about the vaccine and how people had to stop believing it. And people joined in on that.
Soler said, I have 3 kids, Nab, so I'm not sure I'm willing to fight back. I know you have kids too, and I'm sorry about you not having custody.
Oh.
Nab.
Not having custody of what?
His children.
Who's that?
So we've got Jack. So hello, Jack.
Hi.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Really heated
Yeah,
debate.
we're talking about Canada.
We're talking about Canada.
Yeah.
We've got our friends from Canada in the in the building, and we're talking
Yeah.
about the how people in Canada are quite disillusioned at the moment. And we've been touching on Black Lives Matter, Jack.
Yeah.
If you've been watching or listening, so you might want to come in and listen to this, or you might want to just run to the hills.
So Nav said if they want to drag me to a camp or vax me. Oh right, so if they want,
Yeah. So you're against the vaccination.
And Soler said this is a sick world.
It is. It's but again, it's a melting pot, isn't it? It's a very big melting pot that we're all involved in.
Nav said I have one girl and I'm standing for her future freedom.
You have one girl.
Yeah.
Yes, and I'm and hurrah to that, because I'm exactly the same. So I get you. I get what you're saying.
Jack said I'm good, Teddy's good, and I'm doing Wii Sports. How are you?
You're doing what?
We're
sports?
Good, thank you. Wii Sports.
Oh right, okay, brilliant. We're just
we're good, thanks, Jack.
We started off on a tangent with our friends. So we've got our friends from Canada, and we were just talking about Black Lives Matter, and I have instigated this chat that's talking about how people actually feel about now. We're quite sensitive at the moment about Black Lives Matter over here, but we're just being told by our Canadian friends about how they feel oppressed by this happening at the moment.
Soler said, I respect that. If you don't fight, no doubt they will use them against us.
Yeah, exactly. And you've got to fight for your right to party, as it were, haven't you? But I'll be fighting all the way. I have one daughter, my beautiful Sophia, and I'll die for my daughter, and I'll die protecting my daughter. So obviously she needs, as you will be doing now, the guidance and the support that they need, and follow them through.
Nab said her mum told her to put a mask on today and she refused. Good on her, I've taught her well.
Oh, so this is his custody?
Yeah.
Oh, I see. I was now saying. Yeah, she refused to put a mask on?
Yeah.
Oh, I see.
Her mum told her to put a mask on and she refused.
Oh, I see. So we'll let you deal with that one. Because we're...
Soler said I'd be proud of her for that.
Oh, right, okay. Well, it's obviously going to be very controversial.
Yeah.
Very controversial as it's going to be. But if you're coming from the point that children can't be affected by the disease as much, but they can still spread it, that's something that's going to be on the horizon, isn't it? So...
Nav said she's 10 in July, so disgusting that she makes a child wear one.
10 years of age, I don't know. Again, is it protecting her or is it protecting everybody else? Does she see it as protecting the partner? Does she see it as protecting everybody else, or does she see it protecting her? Because there are two different things there, aren't there?
So Soler said, tell me about it. My 4-year-old is being forced to wear one.
Ooh, a 4-year-old wearing a mask.
Wow,
now that is quite daunting, isn't it?
Yeah.
To think of a 4-year-old doing it. But again, I asked the question: is it for the protection of everybody else, or is it for their own protection?
Yeah. That's what I was saying.
What is it for? We have to ask that question, don't we? We do, because I mean, we could go on all day about this topic. I'm sure we will. And Jack, did you say Teddy was okay today? Is Teddy joining you in your ring sports that you were talking about earlier?
Nav said the masks are for sick coughers and sneezers.
Yes, they are. They're to protect everybody else from everybody else sneezing, aren't they? But, yeah, it's a mare that is the situation with the face coverings at the moment. And what do you think then? Well, while we're on about this, let's really get controversial. Over here, we can still, lots of things are closed down, but churches and places of worship can still be allowed to continue. What do you think about that? If we're on about something like that.
Soler said 20 minutes after putting a mask on, it's so dirty from saliva.
Oh yeah.
And now said they don't protect the wearer, and kids need full oxygen and interaction with the world for their immune systems.
Yeah, they do. They don't protect the wearer at all, as you just said, but they do protect other people that may be vulnerable to COVID-19 and to be very ill from it. So I can see it from both sides. I can see it on both ends on this one. So yeah, I'm very much, you see, I can see it from both sides, because I'm very much freedom of speech for people, very much so. I'm very much for everybody's freedom of choice, very much so. But I can also see that people who are vulnerable need to be protected, and if we can protect them by asking people to wear face coverings in case they are asymptomatic, and then coincidentally, secondary, they pass it on. So I can see both sides.
Soler said, well, what is good about Canada? The outdoors, that's all.
The outdoors about Canada.
And Nav said, well, her great-grandma has had the stab now, so we'll see how that goes down.
Yeah, cool, exactly. Well, Sophia's grandparents, aka my parents, have had theirs. They had theirs last week. Mum's feeling a bit up and down at the moment with it, but Dad's been okay. Touch wood, they're both okay. But yeah, it will be interesting. But it's a balance, isn't it? It's a balance between your human rights to do whatever you consider being in the best interest of your child, but also protection of vulnerable people who may become very ill as a result of being subjected to COVID.
So Nab said, asymptomatic is a lie. How can you spread with no symptoms? If you think yourself ill and you will become ill.
Yeah, all in your mind. Is
I mean,
that what you think?
yeah.
You're perfectly right to that opinion, but there seems to be a lot of evidence out there that proves you can be asymptomatic, but you're carrying a virus. I don't know. If you haven't got a virus, and you haven't, I don't know enough about the mutation of COVID to answer that question. There are a lot of people in very, very high places with very, very high brains. You may say corrupt people, I don't know. But asymptomatic to me is a very bizarre terminology.
Slayer said, if someone is weak, they can stay home, busting kids playing hockey, and goes to show this government is mad. And Nab said, yes, we shouldn't be responsible for each other's health, only our own. If people are scared, they can stay at home.
Yeah, if they are scared, but they should have the opportunity to go out and not feel that they may be scared. Yeah, everybody has the right, as we said, to go out and live their lives the way that they want to live them, haven't they? They have. So yeah, I think it's a freedom, it's a choice, a personal choice thing every time, and I support that. But I also support people's choice to feel safe.
They arrested a homeless man in Quebec for being outside and gave him a $6,000 fine.
A homeless man with a £6,000 fine.
Yeah,
that's going to work, isn't it? So he's going to pay that. So that's going to happen.
Nav said, scared of what you cannot see?
Scared of saying, yeah, exactly. But I mean, there's people.
How
worship,
can
people worship? Let's just talk about religion. People worship a God they can't see.
Sorry,
doesn't mean to say they don't believe it doesn't exist, do they?
Soler just said, if immigration helped our economy, we would be rich by now.
Okay.
Yet more homeless than ever.
Yeah.
And Nav said, take away the advertisements and turn off media, and it doesn't exist.
Yeah.
And Soler said, quality of life here has dropped so bad in the past 40 years.
Yeah, you seem to be banging your drum like Dom did today about the immigrants there in Canada, making a very big impact on your society, and it will be a melting pot. We are going to watch this with anticipation, because if what you're saying is reflected across Canada, we're in for a big bang, aren't we? Because from what you're saying, you're the next country to start kicking off about Black Lives Matters. Because if its political correctness gone mad, it will raise its head and it will overflow. Very much so. And I can see that everybody has a right. But I do beg you that question. You asked me that question. You mentioned earlier, how can something that doesn't exist be like, yeah, if you can't see it? If you can't see it, does it really exist? Again, faith is an important thing there, isn't it? People worship their gods. People worship Christianity, they're in Buddhism, Islam. They have never seen the God that they believe in, but they believe they're there. They believe it to be true, so therefore it becomes real and a reality, a figment of their own imagination or reality. So I think that's how I try and answer that question for you. Doesn't mean to say that because it doesn't exist, they can't see it, it doesn't exist. Because to them it does. It's very powerful. So asymptomatic.
Soler said, excuse me, used to be able to buy a house and a car with the wife taking care of the house. Now 2 people working can barely survive.
Yeah, that is sad. That is very sad. And again, as I started to intimate right at the beginning of the conversation, back in this country, back in the 1980s, we had a very, very much popular WASP-M, white Anglo-Saxon middle-class males, that were the predominant culture in this country. And now it's the WASP-M that now feel marginalised. Exactly the same as you Canadians out there seem to be intimating through this discussion today. You seem to be saying the same thing. So it's almost like how Australia evolved over the years. Now I think the similar things
Solaire
happening
said
in Canada.
everyone used to know everyone. Now everyone is insulantist.
Yeah, it sounds like a melting pot. Have you found what you're looking for, madame?
Yeah.
It sounds a very, very deep melting pot. But again, you're describing South Africa in the 70s and 80s, aren't you? You're describing apartheid. You're describing something that happened there, and you're describing life, what it could be like after that. I am going to watch this with anticipation of what's happening in Quebec. In Canada.
Solaire said we've lost everything and it's in place, got a computer screen. And Vegan Miller said, yeah, more depression now than ever. And Solaire said, yep, and drug overdoses and mental health problems.
Oh my word, talk about mental health problems, yeah, exactly. I mean, the indigenous population of a country, if we can actually call it that, once they begin to feel marginalised, then we have issues on our hands. Now, whether you're the indigenous people of your country, or whether you're not. If you believe you're the indigenous people of your country and you're now feeling marginalised, that is, there's only one way forward for that, isn't there? And that's backwards. That is becoming a melting pot, and it will breed disaster at some point. But again, we have to move forward now with COVID. It is what it is. You're the first 3 people for a long time that have come on our show and on our stream and actually talked about your belief about the manifestation of COVID and of asymptomatic. And you know, whether we agree with you or not is simply up to us. But I do thank you for your comments on that, because it does open our eyes to a different perspective on something. And if you greatly believe that it's so manufactured as you obviously do, with a passion, that it's like a lot of other things, then it's always nice to hear from you. So thank you for sharing that with us. Again, it's all down to people's choice and people believing that they have the right to choose. But it does strike a chord with me when an indigenous population of a country begin to start feeling marginalised. That can only breed disaster.
Solaire said, I had a Jamaican stab my friend besides me at least 10 times and put a gun to my head, then jumped from 3 floors. He thought the cops were there.
Who was that, sorry?
Solaire.
Said again, repeat that for me.
I had a Jamaican stab my friend besides me at least 10 times and put a gun to my head, then jumped from 3 floors when he thought the cops were there. He came back and stabbed my other friends because he wanted to steal an Xbox and a bag of weed. Think he was arrested? Ha, no.
No, seeing things like that is straight from the film set of Marked for Death. And the guy that's straight through the window there. It's an alarming. Again, it's all it's just as I've said. It's anybody that's indigenous to a country and you start to feel threatened or marginalised, then you're going to kick back. You're going to protect your own, and that's what you're doing at the moment, by the sound of things. Very sad that you feel and that you've been made to feel that way. But unfortunately, that's what happens, isn't it? That's how you're feeling. And again, if you're getting off your chest, then it's doing something.
Now, do you think I'd want to have my kids live in that environment? I'd rather not let them live outside. I'd rather not let them live outside there even, and that was my home city. When I was a kid, we played outside there. Yeah,
that sounds like if Quebec is turning into the jungle that you're describing it as there, then yeah, I can only reiterate that that is violence begets violence. So clearly I take it now that you feel that you have to be protected on the streets because you're not going to be protected by the authorities. So you're going to do what happens in America, aren't you? You're going to defend your own. And that in its own self is going to breed more and more disaster. But you're going to do it because you're going to look after your own. So yeah. Jackie, you're still there? Getting quite deep, mate, isn't it, this? Getting quite deep from from our friends that are chatting at the moment. But it is always nice to share and to share people's opinions on something that's very close to the heart and meaningful to them. So again, guys, thank you, you three, for sharing that.
So Celeste says, that was London. Now imagine watching the news in Toronto and cops are saying they won't police areas anymore that could have murders every 2 weeks because they don't want to bust people of colour.
Yeah.
And Jack said hi.
Hello.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah,
so Celeste said Toronto is no-go zone.
A no-go. There should be no such thing as a no-go zone. There should be no such thing. There should be no such thing from a police point of view as a no-go zone, because they're frightened to do their job correctly, and there should be no such thing as a no-go zone for a person who wants to go into a zone. But there are no-go zones everywhere, and it is what it is. There's things like that happen in New York, things like that happens in the Bronx, things like that happen in London, and of course they're happening now in Toronto, they're happening in Quebec. You just don't expect to hear it there, do you? The other flash side to that is in Sydney. You don't expect to be attacked by a bunch of Aborigines in Sydney, do you?
Imagine putting your kids in school in Toronto now. Mad.
In well,
Toronto.
School in Toronto.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's it's not. From what you're saying, I wouldn't touch it with a barge pole. So why is Prince Harry gone over there then? Why do you think our Prince Harry is over there? Is it just for the seclusion in the hills?
Do you know which part he's gone to?
Toronto.
Which part has Harry gone to?
Harry gone to? I don't know. The Rockies. He's gone to live in the hills. Not gone into the city, has he?
And international gangs everywhere that blames whites for everything wrong in their lives.
International gangs?
Yeah.
In Toronto?
Yeah.
Well, you see that again? It's right. It's going to happen. It sounds to me like a film set from Mark for Death. Just exactly been watching films, and it's just sometimes we see things like that happening over here, and we have to stop and wonder why. But clearly, it goes on. We have similar situations that kick off, and we don't know when we go to bed at night what's happening out there. There's so many things happening that would make like myself, make your hair curl and fall out if you thought too much about it.
Hang on, I'm just letting it. It's not like UK is better.
No, I don't suppose. I think every capital city, every city throughout the world, you're describing any city in the world. You could be describing Tokyo. You could be describing New York. You could be describing London. You could be describing Ontario. You could be describing Quebec. You could be describing any country. More and more so now in Paris, in France. You could be describing any country throughout the world. It all has its issues, it all has its problems. But does it stand from the indigenous people feeling the way you are, or is it because of the melting pot that is now? I don't know.
In Sweden, they had less than 400 rapes a year. Now
yes,
it's over 8,000.
You've just hit the exception to the rule, haven't you? But the Swedes, a nation that was controlled by Vikings originally, they were the most violent force out there, and also the most peace-loving people at the same time. So yes, thank you.
And are having grenade attacks and finding mosques filled with chemical weapons banned by the Geneva Convention and Genocide Act.
Yeah, I mean, these things are going to happen. But yeah, you've hit a good point there about Sweden, about Scandinavia. They've been doing things the right way for a long, long time.
It's every white majority. Sweden isn't an exception.
No. It's not an exception to the rule, but it's a condemnation of what you're talking about now. Sweden.
Globalism.
Globalism. Yes, you're obsessed with globalism, you three, aren't you? But it's a conspiracy theory that is coming more to the forefront of so many millions of people throughout the world now, and we will be hearing a lot more of that word that will be joining our semantics as we continue. As the words Black Lives Matters will sonorate all across the world, so too will your phrase that you're using now. In 5 years from now, this conversation will become more apparent.
Soler said, hang on, I'm just waiting for the chat to come up. Yes, I am, because international gov explains it.
It does, yeah, and it will be more and more apparent as we go on. As we continue to try to live in peace and harmony, there will be blips like this, and there will be people that will be questioning things, and at the moment, COVID has taken over. Once COVID has disappeared, the conspiracies will all come back again, and there will be another conspiracy theory to discuss.
Aliens make sense too. The first man on the moon was named Neil A., which is alien backwards.
Oh, yes.
So his full name is Alien R.N. Strong.
You see, yeah, Alien Armstrong, yeah.
Yeah.
There are a lot of conspiracy theories out there, and there are a lot of people, there are a lot of things, strange things that go bump in the night. And of course, I think you three, should go and watch our friend, Creepy.
Yes.
Watch Creepy's
videos.
Yeah. Yeah. Have our friend Creepy, that's his
You'd
channel.
get along together.
Yeah, we would get on really well. And it's a pity that Creepy's not here today. Because clearly, I think you should go across and watch his channel. What's his channel called, my darlings?
It's called Creepy and Dragon Explore Beyond.
Creepy and Dragon Explore Beyond. And it's our friend Creepy that's now living in the Philippines, and he's ex-services.
Yeah.
And actually speaks very similar to what you three are speaking at the moment. So I do suggest you go and check his video. He's just done a video now about, it's kind of like the unknown. The unexplained. And I think you'd get along really, really well. So
Soler said I'll give them a sub.
Yeah, give them a shun. Yeah, give them a look. See what, have a look. Because it's something I think you will get on. And when we do bring people together here at Elysium Sophia, we do tend to get people together and get people to chat. So, that would be good. And have a chat and look at what's happening there, because he's done a lot of videos that try to explain the unexplainable. And things that go bump in the night, literally and non-literally. So again, Jack, are you still here, mate? Are you still here? Are you listening to this very, very deep conversation at the moment, and conspiracists and conspiracy theories? Or are you thinking, oh, I'm just going to go out now and go and have a walk with Teddy? If you're still here, Jack, I hope you're having a decent weekend. And of course, if you're watching in the wings, people, if you're watching in the wings that you haven't got a channel and you're still tuning in to watch us.
Yeah, Jack's still here.
Jack's still here. Hi, Jack. I think there's going to be a lot of people today that'll be staying away from the chat because they're just listening with intent and anticipation as to what's going to happen next. But yeah, join in if you want. Never feel alienated, pardon the pun on
yeah, literally.
To come in and chat. So if you have been, if you are waiting in the wings and you are listening, again, I'd like to thank our three friends today, our Canadian friend and our two from the UK, for opening up something that's literally a can of worms, from what you were saying earlier, that's very interesting and will be rather thought-provoking for a lot of people. And if we do watch this space, I think we will be watching very, very closely life in Canada as to see what's happening. With Quebec and Toronto, and if it's going the same way as any other major cities across the world. And your conspiracy theory will come to fruition or won't?
Soler said, I respect how you fielded my comments. Lots of people don't have the ability to, and I respect that for it. I respect you for it.
Thank you. We're all intelligent people here. We've all got a right to opinion. And it's nice for intelligent people to get together.
Another thing is,
and to not declare war.
We're here
open things and chat.
to get things off your chest. We're here to chat to you.
Here at Elysium Sophia, we are a station that shows.
I'm going to let you guess who that is. Dum Diddy Day.
Oh, Harry.
Hey,
you're banging
hello,
your drum on
Harry.
Dum Diddy Day. How are you, Harry? We're having a real intellectual debate at the moment.
We're talking about Canada.
From the conspiracy theories that's out there. It's been a great conversation, this conversation, Harry. And we're glad that you've come in here to bang your drum like Dum Diddy Day. And I do appreciate your comment as your host today from Canada, so thank you.
And I was going to say as well,
welcome to
we're here as well to let you get things off your chest.
Yeah,
and if you have anything worrying you, just get it off your chest.
Yeah.
We're here to chat.
This is why Elysium Sophia started to host kind of chat platforms like this, because as you know, or as you may not know, Elysium Sophia are all about meditation, motivation, relaxation, and about hypnosis, and about us helping you to be the best version of you that you can possibly be. And by hosting a chat show like this, people come together and respectfully chat.
Soler said thanks to, and Harry said lovely.
Ah, great. No, it's you're welcome.
Yeah.
Both of you, very welcome. It's nice to get a cross section of people at our chat. From those that want to come and have a bit of entertainment, for those that want to listen to an intellectual debate, as what we're having today, or to those that just want to come off and listen in the wings, to get things off their chest. So
Soler said, the situation is bad, but we can still train hard, fast, and live happy, healthy lives.
As we do, and we must do, because we can. We don't have to declare war. We can stand up for the beliefs we have. We can keep our own families safe. At the end of the day, we can listen to others' opinions, and we can then make the informed choices ourselves to live our lives the best way we want to live it, and do it to the best of our ability. That's
nice to be able to talk to people, even if we have different opinions.
It is.
Yes, it
is. That's what it's all about, isn't it?
We share opinions.
It is. You need to, you need to take things in and take bits of, take the kernel of any conversation, open it up, discuss it, put it back in its box, and then toddle off on our merry ways. Thinking that we've learned a little bit, I know that we've learned a lot from today's chat about how people think, and it is. I never belittle people and indigenous people that feel threatened, because Black Lives Matter has brought that to the forefront. Because there are going to be people, and there are going to be people out there that do feel that they are an indigenous population that once upon a time were respected and protected, but now feel alienated. And that's what you're describing to me. That's what you're describing to me. And that's why it's a pleasure to have this conversation and to be hosting this debate with you. Because if anybody, again, as our therapy business shows, anybody feels alienated for whatever reason, then we'd like to try and help them with it and encourage them to talk about it and be open about it.
Jack said, now I'm doing Just Dance.
Now you're doing what, sorry?
Just Dance.
Oh, that's fine. You just do dance, Jack. You just that's probably it's probably a good thing, because it is great to get things off your chest. It's nice to get people from many views, many opinions, get them into the same place, get them to share these opinions. And some people are very passionate, and some people are on the edge of declaring war on other people. They're that passionate. But it's nice, as you just said, we can share, we can relate, and the Gibbs word in all this, it's to be empathetic and to empathise with other people.
Harry said dance to Dum Diddy Day. I tell you what, Harry, yes. I'll be posting a video of that if you like.
You are, aren't you?
I'll be posting that.
Soon.
Harry said, are you verified?
Are we monetised?
Well, yeah.
Yeah. Well, again, Harry, we're still waiting on the final word from YouTube. We've had so many different issues lately. Yeah. As you probably aware, over Christmas I was quite ill with bronchitis and sinusitis. So only been on air again for the last 2 weeks, basically since after Christmas. And we've not yet received the actual confirmation from YouTube. As far as we know, we're fully monetised. But until we receive that final accolade from YouTube, we don't know.
Soler said, for sure, I mean no harm to anyone. Just wish things went back to how they were when I was a child. Yeah. My country committed cultural suicide.
I know, and like the proverbial lemmings, your government seem to be jumping off cliffs left, right and centre. And they're causing a lot of problem for people like yourself. Monetised is... but we're just waiting for the final thing. We're also on, obviously, we're doing other things. We're presenting shows on other platforms as well, because Elysium Sophia is developing, it's growing. We're hosting this chat show, we're hosting chat shows on other platforms now. We're also still doing our hypnosis, our meditation therapy, but we're also now engaging people in thoughtful conversation. Today, in particular, we've been taking a rather controversial idea and discussing it with our friends from Canada, amongst other people.
The government of Canada might as well be government of Israel, and to go a step further, government of Rothschilds.
Rothschild. You see, again, if you start bringing the Rothschildian version into this, then we've been talking today about dystopia and how the world can bring about dystopia, which was once utopic, and how very quickly utopia can turn dystopic almost overnight. But there's always a catalyst that creates that.
So hang on. All the media here using pagan / Masonic symbols, and why weren't they held accountable for their crimes after World War II?
Israel?
I think so.
Because
yeah.
you're talking again, aren't you? Again, I can see it from both sides. Again, as a nation, a very proud and a very popular nation, been through a lot themselves. We can't deny that. But again, a very rich nation holds a lot of power in the world, and power is influence, and influence is power. And again, as I was talking about the Clinton regime in America, the same with the Jewish community throughout the world. Hold a lot of power, hold a lot of influence in the right places. So yeah, suffered a lot, but also created a lot of suffering in return of the suffering themselves. So it's an ever-going circle. But yeah.
Things are very dystopian.
Pardon?
Things are very dystopian.
They are dystopian, and they'll continue to be dystopic, because while ever people are trying to be utopic and look for a certain subjectivity in utopia, then there will always be dystopia, because people will always feel disillusioned, people will always feel disenfranchised. And while ever people feel disenfranchised and dystopic, then the anti-dystopia and the anti-disestablishmentarianism will always be there. The anti-disestablishmentarianism, should I say, will always be there, because people will always be looking for ways to be anti-dystopic, because we all want the best for ourselves, don't we? We all want the best for our families. We all want the best, and the two things we're looking at there are subjectivity. Everything's subjective, and also people need to be more empathetic, and you can't be empathetic unless you've seen it for yourself.
I agree, it will always be dystopia, but this is really bad. The government seems like they worship the devil and abuse kids.
Well, yeah, and again, it's an opinion that you'll share there. It's an opinion that's going to feel very much so. And you see, you are very much aligned to a Donald Trump scenario there in America. Whether you like it or not, a lot of what you're saying is very, very similar to the Donald Trump message that's out there at the moment in America, which again was what we started this conversation off about the Biden influence, what it's going to mean for America, because people like yourself that are suffering from this fallout of dystopia will rise up. You will rise up. And you will have your day, like the proverbial phoenix. You will have your day, but it needs more of you to share and to share your empathies.
Trump for sure is one of them.
Of course, you've just mentioned the Rothschildian and the Rothschild influence there as well. You've got to look at corruption. You've got to look at Rothschild. You've got to look at who holds the power. Who holds the power in the country? The people do not own the power that they used to have, do they? And look at a classic example of the Soviet Union and the Ukraine. The power once upon a time was the proletariat, was the people. The people have the power. Now it's gone full circle. If it wasn't for Trotsky and Lenin and all that in the Soviet Union, and now the power has now gone back to the state again. It's gone full circle, hasn't it? It's gone full circle.
We need someone who isn't a Zionist.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of Zionists around at the moment. There are a lot of Zionists. There are more Zionists around than what you actually imagine. You probably do imagine and know more. But the general public are not aware of how many Zionists are at large. And again, you then connect with Zionism. And again, you hit on the Israeli comment earlier. And obviously, the connection between Zionists and the Israelis. Very, 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 very close kinship. And of course, you look at in some countries they call it Methodism. And again, you've hit the nail on the head. It's religion, isn't it? It's philosophy, it's religion, it's a train of thought.
I'm convinced that Zionists run every country.
Yeah. Too right. There's a lot of belief in that. There's a lot of weight in that. But you right at the very beginning. You'll have to forgive me because my answer maybe wasn't the one you were looking for. But when you said about something not existing, how can something exist?
Yeah.
We can't see it, so therefore it doesn't exist. Yeah. And my response to that was what it is now. People worship gods. The power in belief of a god is the most powerful thing on earth. And wars have been fought over it. People in their millions have died for it. About something you can't see, but it exists. Or it doesn't exist. It's a subjective thing. People have gone to war about something that they know exists but can't see it. In the same way as now we have a disease out there that is asymptomatic to some, so you can't heal it, you can't feel it, but it's there.
In Iran, Russia and USA, we see all the same symbols on the walls of the government buildings: triangles, eyeballs, pyramids. The channel Delete the Elite exposes this hard.
Yeah, the discord will always be there, and the elitism will always continue. And while good people do nothing, as the phrase goes. But again, the Zionist influence that you're talking about there has gone back years and years and years. And the Zionist will come across and it will join with the Israeli argument. And then you have the issue of Gaza, and then it becomes an ever-perpetuating circle. It's like in ancient script that says the quiches and the doshas, and it's being released from the self-fulfilling myths that are the quiches, and thus being out of their control.
Every country is littered in Masonic lodges. I don't see it as coincidence. It's exactly what Henry Ford warned us about.
Yeah, it's a long, long time ago. Again, it was all. If you look at all religions and you look at all philosophy and all schools of thought, they're very similar. And it's about people doing nothing and people uniting. And you only have to look at corruption throughout the world, and you only have to look at our own countries. We were having the same discussion with Creepy the other day, and we were saying, how come when it's in the best interest of the country, they go to war? It's all about oil, it's all about money, it's all about wealth, it's all about something for that country. Like in the Middle East, we go to war with and try and remove a leader in Saddam Hussein, but we let someone like Mr. Mugabe in South Africa and Africa live merrily because it's nothing advantageous to us.
Jack said it's like Shaun of the Dead at the moment.
It is like Shaun of the Dead here.
Solaire said it could be all the fluoride people are ingesting Jack.
It says, who said that to Jack? Yeah,
Solaire,
it's quite informative in a way that it's also just looking at the powers that are out there.
Yeah.
It's looking at the powers that are out there, and it's looking at corruption. It's looking at people again. The conversation that we had with Creepy was exactly the same about why people go to war.
The downfall of our race started around 1900, along with cancer and all the best medicines being banned.
Yeah. It's all the priorities are all wrong. The priorities are all wrong, but the priorities are prioritised by people who have no right to really to prioritise.
All these global wars and immigration with media hiding crimes against us is all connected.
Yeah, they're all crimes that are inhumanity is the essence of it all. Yeah, humanity should be the centre of everything, but it's not, is it? And you look at why we went to war. We went to war against Saddam Hussein for weapons of mass destruction, of which none were ever found. But nevertheless, oil was at the forefront of it all, and wealth. We now have a dictator. We had a dictator that's no longer with us, but we have a dictator in Africa that was killing and torturing people a lot more than Saddam Hussein, but we did nothing about it, simply because there wasn't anything in it. So that was it was unethical. But again, yeah, we're touching on things that really. My wonderful daughter's just broken something that I don't think she should have been dismantling. So anyway, on a lighter note, there.
Henry Ford said that this was part of the Kulendrov-Kalegrai plan, and said that Masons would orchestrate it while Zionists controlled it.
Yeah, Armageddon. it's we have to do something before it's Armageddon. I get it.
For him to say this back in the 20s, and here we are 100 years later, and it's spot on.
Yeah. You also, we were talking a very similar thing. We were talking about Nostradamus the other day. We were talking about myself and my daughter, who's still very, very young, and we're talking about the predictions and intelligent people throughout history that have made predictions. And and we got talking about Nostradamus. So again, I do apologise for people around there that have come to this debate today, not expecting it to be so philosophical, but it is what it is. And sometimes here at Elysium Sophia, we can get very, very deep, and we appreciate intelligence and depth of thought and depth of conversation. But it's also nice to be light-hearted too. Today, on this occasion, we've enjoyed being in the company of three people that have shone a light on alienation and conspiracy theories.
Yes.
And we do thank you very much for that today. We are now bringing our transmission today.
Henry Ford wasn't about predicting the future. He was an inventor. He wrote these books because of the information he had.
No, but Nostradamus was. But Henry Ford was very much a realist, wasn't he? He was very much a realist and a very intelligent guy. And rather than being a soothsayer, he was a member of the here and now. And he knew what people needed, and he knew what was wrong in society. And his version of utopia was very, very apparent even then, and did all he could to avoid the thought of dystopia. Did all that he could. Was a very clever guy, very clever man. But again, on that note, we do need to bring our transmission to a close today. And of course, if you've been with us today, you've been very, very welcome. And you are so welcome to put on that bell, ding, and join us again next time. Whether it be a deep conversation next time, or whether it be a fleeting conversation, we're always
make sure to put the notification bell on so you don't miss next time we go live. We hope to see you all next time. Thank you so much for joining us. Okay, great talk for sure. Yeah. So please remember to put the bell on so next time we go live you can join us. Thank you everyone that's joined us today. If you have been in the chat and you haven't said anything, or you've been in the background, thank you for joining us as well. And yeah, we hope to see you all next time.
Yeah, and wherever you've been joining us from today, as I say, if you joined us earlier, we're in the chat. From the Philippines, we say thank you for joining us today, and from Kuwait, and from Qatar, and from the Middle East, and all the associations from there. Again, if you're from the UK, from our friends from the UK, Vegan Realist and friend that came earlier. Thank you for joining us today, and of course our friend from Canada. Thank you for joining us, and all of you, please check out, again, can you tell me that channel again for you to
it's Creepy and Dragon Explore Beyond.
Creepy and Dragon Explore Beyond. And check out some of the videos of Creepies, because you will find them fascinating.
Yes. And hopefully when we go live next time, we might have Creepy so you can
join in the conversation as well. Again, if you've joined us from the UK today, Harry, hope you've enjoyed and maybe learned a little bit from this heated debate today, maybe, and obviously Harry and Jack. And Harry's still banging your drum like donkey today. Great to hear from you. And as always, anybody who's joined us today, if you're joining us like Millie, maybe listening in the wings, or you've been joining us if you're Ava, or if you're Kalana, or if you're anybody that's joined us but not taken part in the chat and you've been with us today, hope you've enjoyed this look at this dystopic and utopic look at life, and a very deep conversation today. If you joined us from wherever today, hope you may join us again next time. And remember, as always here at Elysium Sophia, you are special. You are a special person, and you are unique. And there's only one of you, and you have to be the best version of you, so that you can be the best version and the more stronger version of you to help other people that rely on you and love you and care for you as you love and care for them. So, always take that time for you. Take that time to re-energize, to help the yin and the yang to come together to help you be the person that you want to be, and then you can be seen by others as you want to be seen. And of course, wherever you've watched us from today, with COVID still around, whether you're anti-vaccine or pro-vaccine, or whether you believe it's there or not, it is out there. So we have got to be and we have got to be careful and aware of each other. So if we can stop spreading this dreadful disease onto other people, then we owe it to humanity to do so. So until next time, stay safe, enjoy the rest of your day, put the bell on for next time, ding, and as always, thank you for joining us, and a big, massive namaste.